Joining the ACA Small Business Bootcamp for this Tuesday, February 8th. We're excited to have everybody with us today. I'm Robert Theobald, Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services here at the Arizona Commerce Authority. And as we like to do when we start, we like to recognize all of our community partners. This is just a quick sample of our community partners. We have over 140 that have helped work with us on the bootcamp and share their time, their effort, and their expertise, and we are extremely grateful for that. Those not familiar with the Small Business Bootcamp, as it is designed to help small businesses grow stronger, work through the COVID crisis, and come out stronger on the backside. It is a statewide initiative supported by all those community partners. And not only is it the Tuesday webinars that we do, it is a content library, and it's going to provide some access to workshops with our community partners. So we're going to talk about those real quick. So first, our content library. Throughout the last almost 2 years of doing bootcamp sessions, we've recorded over 200 webinars and presentations. And we have these listed in our content library on our website. We just updated the website so you can actually search by those 7 categories you see listed there on the little phone on the side of the screen to help you find the previous presentations that might be helpful to your business. All these webinars are no cost to review, and you can share the links with friends, and it's a great resource for your business and businesses you may be familiar with. On the website, we also list the upcoming webinars and workshops. On there, one of the pieces of the bootcamp that we've added is the workshop piece, and our next workshop is February 23rd. It's going to be a virtual workshop in partnership with the Phoenix Business Journal and Wells Fargo, and we're bringing on a few other partners, and we're talking about how to access capital to grow your business. Access to capital is a hot topic nowadays, and we want to focus on that to make sure everybody knows some of the rules and guidelines, and the culture of getting funding for your business and things you need to do on the front side, things that will help you as you prepare your paperwork to reach out for a loan or equity or other options. So it's gonna be a real exciting workshop. It'll be 2 hours with some great community partners. Some other information and resource websites we'd like to mention is the state's COVID-19 information and resource page, arizonatogether.org. And then the Arizona Commerce Authority set up azcommerce.com/COVID-19. And it is a COVID-19 business and information resource website as well. It has business guidance information, it has funding information, financial information. We have a link there for a page that we set up that has all the grants and loan programs that are available due to COVID-19. So it's a great page to keep note of and check with every so often. The Commerce Authority also has a number of programs to help support small businesses throughout the state. We have our Small Business Services, our Workforce, and our Arizona MEP, our Manufacturing Extension Partnership. These programs help small businesses. They look to start and grow and can help you in various different ways. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to us and we can get you connected with those divisions within the ACA. Also, we have the Small Business Checklist. And this is a great tool. It's an online interactive tool to help entrepreneurs, whether you're starting a business or growing your business, identify the commonly requested licensing, registration, and compliance needs at the local, state, and federal levels. It also contains a lot of other great information on business planning, procurement. And if you look at the little screen right there, you can see a little face down in the corner. We just launched a chat bot. Our virtual assistant, Sally, our state and local licensing information virtual assistant, and it is a quick summary of the checklist is a smorgasbord of information, and Sally is a kind of fast food summary of some of that information. If you're looking for some quick answers, Sally may be able to help you out, or you may need to dig into the checklist and take a deep dive into all the information that we provide in that checklist. So some quick business updates. The SBA, the Small Business Administration, I'm going to post in the chat. We're going to post in there the link to their website. I just want to mention their website because there's a lot of great business information on there that can help you understand as you're starting your business or growing it. Just business systems. There's some information on the different funding programs that the SBA supports and how those work. So it's just a great website to be aware of. Also, business support programs. There are a number of programs available. The Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, Women's Business Centers, Minority Business Development Agency, and others that help support small businesses throughout the state at no cost programs. And so we're going to share those links so you can access those. And then just a reminder, PPP loan forgiveness. If you got a PPP loan in 2021, you may be coming up on the timeline to request forgiveness, apply for forgiveness. And so we don't want you to forget about that. We are going to have a upcoming forgiveness webinar on the Bootcamp in March. So you can get some more information on that, but we'll post a link to the SBA's information on loan forgiveness. With that, we'll jump into our upcoming sessions. The next two sessions, the next two Tuesdays, we've got marketing strategy, positioning to win. Real excited about having Tim Manning on with us from Growth Shift to share some information. And then we've got another great new presenter on Marketing 101, start off 2022 off on the right foot. And then, as I noted before, on February 23rd at 9 a.m., we have our Accessing Capital for Small Business Growth. That is a workshop. It'll be a 2-hour virtual interactive webinar. So please join us for that as well. And with that, we're going to turn our time over today to our presenters, Jonathan Mabb and Jeremy Cook. They were with us last week on part 1. They've taken this great workshop that they have and split it into 2 pieces to share with you. They're 2 great separate webinars. Faith will post the link in the chat for last week's if you weren't able to attend. And then also Faith is going to post in the chat a link to the workbook. There's a workbook that goes with last week's and this week's sessions. And if you didn't get a chance to see those, the link in the chat will take you straight to it. So feel free to click on that and download it and follow along as Jonathan and Jeremy share their expertise. So Jonathan, Jeremy, we'll go ahead and stop sharing and turn the time over to you.
Hey, thank you very much, Robert and Faith. Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for those that maybe weren't participating in last week.
Sure, welcome. Thanks for attending. My name is Jeremy Cook. I'm a certified financial planner. Been helping people make smart money decisions for the last 15 years. Actually, a little longer than that. I was a mortgage broker prior to getting into this business. And love helping people make better money decisions. I don't know if people remember 2006 and 2007 in Arizona when people were using their homes as giant credit cards and buying RVs and boats and crazy things, and then everything melted down in 2008. I decided I want to be on the other side of that, help people get out of debt, help them make financial decisions that would improve their future. I'm married, I got 5 kids, so life is full of soccer games and basketball and volleyball and all kinds of things. But I'm glad to be here and help you out. I'll be monitoring the chat today, so if you need something, I'll be there to answer questions if you need it.
All right. Hey, thank you, Jeremy. So my name is John Mabb. I'm a financial planner. I've been doing this since 2005. My background comes from, I worked in a family business for many years. Phoenix Tent and Awning is the name of the company that I worked for many years. And as I worked in that and was participated in management and sales, I decided my heart was in the finance side. And so that brought me over into where I'm at today. What I like to do is I like to bring the knowledge I obtained in working in that family business and helping business owners. I saw a great need with my family and things that they did really well, and then things that they could have done better. And so I want to do whatever I can to help others do better because they focus a lot of time working on their business and not a lot of time focusing on the financial aspects of outside. So that brings us in today. I'm going to go ahead and as you look in the chat, everything we have here is in a workbook. It's an excellent workbook that covers both sessions. And so if you have it, please, use it to reference. There's some great pages where you can make notes for yourself to try to improve your business and your strategies that you have. If you don't have it, it should be available in the chat. There's a hyperlink in there that Faith posted for you that you can click and download, and it's a nice little PDF. So here's our information. If you do have questions for us, would like further details on how we can help you, please reference that information. We'll also send out just a simple email after our seminar, just thanking you for attending, and just being able to reach out to you guys if you ever have any other information you desire. So in our last session, we talked a little bit about leadership, personal growth, business planning, business finances, human resources, and a little bit about team and culture. The goal of these sessions is just to do a dip in it to each of these areas to get you thinking. As Robert mentioned, they have some great other seminars that are available for you that you can dive a lot deeper into the topics. If you desire to meet with us, we can also help dive deeper into some of these topics where we're more experts on individually. Today, we're going to be covering areas such as marketing, social media, a little bit about productivity and continuous improvement in the business, data analysis, customer service, and community engagement. So we're going to hit a little bit on each of these topics. So Faith, if you could put up our poll question. We do have several poll questions. So poll question number 1, we'd like to have you take some time and look at this. The question is what is your company's greatest strength? So is it your sales process? Is it your marketing? Is it your customer service? Is it your operations and manufacturing? What is your company's greatest strength? All right. So if you guys want to take the time and answer, I don't see much coming in yet. All right, Faith, did we get there? There we go. All right, perfect. I didn't see that. So poll results here. Where do people see their strength? They see their strength in their customer service, in their operations and manufacturing. Interestingly, the sales process seems to be where people felt their weakest strength was. So I find that quite interesting, just to, seeing where people see their fit is. And so we'll talk a little bit about each of those areas and, why is it important? So let's talk about sales. Sales to me is probably one of the most important parts of a business. We all need clients. We all need customers. If we don't have a good sales process, we don't have a good sales team, we are going to struggle, because we need to have a way to bring in those funds, and so that we can bring our product or our knowledge to our clients. And so when we look at it, there's different ways to be a salesperson. There's what I call a salesperson, and there's what we call an order taker. I don't know if anyone's ever heard those terms before. Oftentimes what I've seen when I work with different companies is that most of their sales staffs is order takers. They come out to your home, or you go into their business, they show you a display of what's available to you, and they ask you to pick your options. And now that's fine and great if your business sells itself and people are coming in, but they're not usually very good at being a salesperson. They don't have a tremendous amount of knowledge when it comes to product. They don't have a tremendous amount of knowledge when it comes to why the product's necessary. So, one of the things that I would like to suggest or challenge you is, when you look at it, is to try to be more of a sales team versus an order taker team. One of the ways that you can do that is that you can have ways that you can help your sales team upsell the products. One of the things that we look at is sometimes people like to have multiple companies, and they like to be able to refer products to another company, saying, hey, if you work with this company, you should also work with our sister company, or you should work with our partner to company. Many people, that's kind of where things end. But if you, instead of having a sister or partner company, you're able to upsell opportunities, then you might be able to strengthen your orders, get a little bit more collaboration. Other things that people tend to like is when, if they buy additional things, they get discounts. I remember I was working with a group before, helping them start up their businesses. And one of the people talked about restaurants, and they love the new apps that restaurants have where they can earn points for ordering. So I want you to sit there and kind of think about how many restaurant apps that you have, or company apps, where when I'm a repeat customer, I get benefits back. And what we often are always looking for is repeat customers. So if you can find ways to reward repeat customers, you can also you also will be able to obtain more clientele that are repeat, as well as clientele that are referred to, because when people have repeatable experiences, they like to tell their friends about it. And that brings us into the next things. One of the most important things that you can do is obtain referrals. It's the easiest way for you to be able to obtain new clients, is being referred by someone else. And so I didn't do a poll question. I should have done a poll question on this. I'll do one a little bit later on this as well. In fact, let's just do that right now. Can you do poll question number 3? Is that hard for you, Faith, instead of number 2?
Not a problem.
All right, thank you. You're awesome. All right, so what is your primary tool to acquire new clients? Is it email marketing? Is it referrals? Is it social media marketing? Is it website marketing? How do you obtain those new clients? One I didn't put in there is storefront marketing. That's, people just walk-ins. I don't know if we see that much anymore. All right, so our results come up here. Email marketing is our least effective. Excellent. I see 43% of those individuals are getting referral strategies. Wonderful thing. Social media marketing is the second, which is definitely a new and up and coming way. And website marketing is following. So very good. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and completing those. So as we can see, is that most people get clients through referrals. And so what I suggest you do is think about your referral marketing system. Are you asking for it? Are you giving rewards for those that refer? Oftentimes people will give some sort of discount, or they'll give a rebate, or they'll give a prize of some sort for referrals. There's many different ways to work on getting referrals, but come up with a referral strategy. Work with your sales team and discuss how they can work on obtaining those referrals. Work with your customer service team as well. Oftentimes your customer service ones are who have the most interaction. Sales is start and followed by customer service. Work on obtaining those referrals is one of the most important things that you can do. Now, the next things that we talk about in the sales cycle is overcoming objections. Okay, so overcoming objections is probably one of the most important things a sales team should be ready for. They need to realize that most objections come into 4 simple categories. They either don't feel like they need it, they don't have the money to buy it, it's not important to them right now, or they just don't trust you or your company. And so people can phrase things in many, many different ways, but these are typically what everything comes back into, is one of these categories. So one of the best things that you can do is when you work with your sales team is work on training them to recognize these objections and come to understand them and how to respond to them. They may not be able to always resolve concerns because no money may be really no money. if they don't trust you, they need to be able to figure out how to build trust. If it's not urgent, they need to see if you can find a way to help them make it more urgent. So if we can do poll question number 2, Faith, this would be a great time to have that one come in here. So is my sales team is prepared to find and resolve customers' concerns? So is that a true or false? Or how prepared is your sales team to resolve customers' concerns? All right. How are we doing on results there? Excellent. Looks like 65% of you felt that they were well prepared to resolve customers' concerns. So, I think that this is something it's a good reminder. I know it's in my process, I often need to go back and be reminded of these things, be repeated, practice them. If you do have sales meetings, practice these tools and to help them be more efficient and effective in them. Okay, so when we come to marketing, we're going to talk a little bit about different marketing methods. We definitely believe referral marketing is the best marketing that you can obtain. But there are other strategies people use is email, search engine optimization, social media, website optimization, content marketing. Now, when you look at your marketing strategies, the one thing that we'll talk a little bit about is data analysis later. We want you to pay attention, know where your referrals or know where your clients are coming from. And so you also need to be able to put a dollar amount as the cost to obtain these clients. So if you're using these other methods, pay attention to how much it's costing you in order to do this style of marketing, and where your clients, how many clients are coming from it, and what are they spending with you. Make sure that the marketing methods that you're using are the most effective marketing methods for you, and that those marketing methods aren't costing you more than they should. Now, sometimes it's just brand recognition, and that's what that marketing needs to be, is just to be able to build your brand, and it takes time. So the other thing we want you to realize is that some of these marketing methods need to take time. Don't expect them to work immediately. When you're dealing with search engine optimization, website marketing, social media, you're building a name to where people get comfortable with you before they start usually working with you. Okay. Now, other steps of the sales process, and every business is going to be a little bit different in this, but a lot of people don't like to be sold to. They want to better understand. So it's better to educate. And then it's also better to explain why your business fits into this model, and then provide solutions. If you're coming in with the solution, you're missing the point. The clients aren't going to necessarily understand why your solution is effective, or why it's important, or why they need it. So consider where your sales process is, and in order to help you be more effective when you're communicating with your clients. Okay. Now, when you look at this, we also suggest that you look at your marketing materials. Don't just focus on specific solutions. Also focus your marketing material on education. Also focus your marketing material on why your business is of value. So look at your different marketing materials, your website, your social media content, and see if you have areas in each of these categories. If you have areas in these categories, that's excellent. And you just need to look at how you want to display and how you want to produce, or how you want to give it to your clients. Now, oftentimes people are emotional when it comes to purchasing. They get attached to something. They have a great need or desire for something. So it's important for your sales team to become connected with your clients. They need to be able to connect with them emotionally and understand the emotions that are coming in. Can they pay attention to, or is that client engaged with what I'm sharing with them? How is their body language reacting to it? Do I need to ask them more questions to get more understanding? So help them understand the importance of emotionally connecting with your clients so that they're not just that order taker. Also, customers also want to know, why is it a value? Help your clients understand the value that your products bring to them and why it's going to benefit them. So when we look at that, here's a good little checklist that you can use, and it'd be something that would be good for you to sit down with your salespeople and to list your products, list your features of your product and see how well they can explain the benefits of them, whether it's a benefit versus your competitor or it's just a benefit naturally. So take time, make sure that your sales staff is educated well enough to where they can explain the benefits of each feature and why it's of value. This will help you with upsells. Will help you with client retention. This will help build that client confidence that's extremely important. Websites. Oftentimes, many people's first experience is the website. I know personally, if I'm looking at a company that I'm deciding to work with, one of the first things I'm going to go to is their website. And so having a good website is something of great value, and it brings strength to your company. Now, when they look at your website, they want to make it sure it's easily accessible. They want to be able to transition through the different areas and understand simply where they're going and what they're seeing. Another thing that we find is important is the About Us page. You can't put too much stuff, but you need to not put too little. It's important that the people that are coming to your website know about you, know how long you've been in the business, know why you're in the business, that they know your value statement. They know the value that you're going to bring to them. Have that information on your website so that the clients can know more about you before they even speak with you. Okay, so things that your website should do is bring value. Why are you guys of value? It should be a way that clients can provide data to you, so that you can obtain customers. Now, it's also a way that you conduct commerce or conduct sales. Not all websites are efficient in this, and then not all companies are meant to do it this way. But if your company can do sales via website, you should set up your website so that people can do that. Oftentimes, you will be able to pick up those customers that don't want to have a salesperson, that are harder to find if you have that ability to be able to buy things on the website. Okay. Social media. Now, it looks like over the next couple of weeks, you're going to dive a lot deeper into social media. So we're just going to hit it kind of briefly here today. Couple things on social media is be responsive. If there's communication via social media, be responsive. One of the things that I pay attention to is when I go and review companies, I look to see how companies respond to complaints or bad reviews. To me, that's one of the first things that I pay attention to is how are they responding to bad reviews? Because it's going to happen. We cannot make everyone happy, but what we can do is respond in a kind, friendly way. I get very frustrated, or not very frustrated is the wrong word. I get very turned off when I see that a company comes back and is very rude back to a rude customer review. To me, I look at that and I think I don't want to deal with that person. I also understand that not all people are going to be happy. And so you always take those reviews and understand we don't know the full story. Now, not everyone feels that way, but I think a lot of people pay attention to reviews that way. And so make sure that you are responsive to those reviews, good and bad, and try to be kind and authentic when it comes to responding to those reviews. This is how you're going to be building trust. Now, the other thing when it comes to social media is make sure that you have good, easy content. You also can create this content just from the marketing materials that you already have. So make sure that your content that you're posting on social media kind of meshes in with your marketing tools that you're using when you're meeting with clients. It's going to be able to help continue that story. Now, one thing that we find as a value is also creating a story with social media, and in your workbook, there's a nice little page, it's on page 99, where you can help create that story. In there, it talks about creating a hero of the story. Is the hero your company because it solves a problem? Is it your customer that you want to focus on because they did your customer was an excellent customer and you were able to do something great for them? Or is your product the hero? We need to help them understand the goal. What was the goal of the situation? What was the problem, the obstacle? How did your company help, or how did the customer help? And what's the value that was brought inside of there? So social media is becoming a tremendous source of marketing. I think it's something that every company should pay attention to. Please take time. There's lots of good social media seminars that are coming up and marketing seminars that you can learn a lot more on how to deeper dive and be more effective in those areas. So productivity. So Faith, can you do slide number 4? Here's an interesting, I have told a customer no before. No, I can't do this, or no, I'm not interested in selling this product to you before. Have you ever told a customer no before? All right, how are we coming there? It's 83%. I think that's excellent. So 83%, there's 17% that haven't. So definitely, there's reasons to tell a client no before, or client no before, or a customer no. One of the reasons is that we have our productivity. It's what we are good at. So if you think of what your business is good at, and what your client is asking for you is outside of that, sometimes it's better to say no than to try and fail. Now, that's not always the story, but I want you to make sure that you're not afraid to say no to your clients so that your company can be productive at what it does best. I sit back and I look at a situation in our family business. I look back and there's a couple times that I wish I was very young in my sales career that I would have told my clients no. And it was where we were able to achieve what they wanted, but unfortunately the cost that it took us to achieve the goal was much more expensive than what it's worth. And so in the end game, we ended up losing money on that project or that sale because I didn't say no, we couldn't accomplish it. Did we accomplish it? Yes, but we didn't make money on there, which is important to keep your business going. So when you look at productivity, one of the important things that you want to look at is what are your processes? What are your steps that you take in your business from sales, from the sales cycle down to production to customer service? What are the cycles that are happening? And do your staff understand those cycles? They need to be able to explain to the client, hey, once we're done with our order today, this is what you have to expect. And so that the customer understands what's coming that way. It's also good for the sales to understand that and for the staff to understand how it works, and so that they can be more efficient in the processes. Okay. Now, the thing that we look at in our productivity is there's many tasks along the way. And one of the good ways of outlining these different tasks is we can find out where we're most effective. And so in your workbook on page 111, there's an excellent place where you can list out several different tasks. And sometimes when you look at your different tasks, some of them may be more redundant that you want them to be, and you may need to drop tasks because they are no longer needed in the process. The other thing, we want to make sure we're delegating to the task to the most effective group. Is it the sales team's situation? Is it your manufacturing or your operations? Is it your customer service? Who is most important and who is the best individuals to be working on those tasks? And sometimes it's not your company at all, and you realize that it's better to outsource. We can't be the best at everything, and outsourcing sometimes is an important thing until we become more efficient in an area or desire to bring that into our team. So, and ways to be more productive is to numbering your tasks and looking at them and seeing how effective you are in each of those tasks, and is there a better way to be more effective or outsource? Okay. We talked a little bit about reasons to tell customers no. And this is an excellent thing to be talking to your staff about. And one of the things that you want to be talking to them is also how to do it kindly. You know, we want to, sometimes we have to be able to educate our clients on why we can't do some things, and we want to make sure that we still build trust when we're doing that. We want them to respect us for saying no and not be frustrated with us for saying no. And so if you look at different reasons that you might be able to tell someone, no, hey, we don't do this, and make sure your staff is also right there with you and being able to explain those in a kind way that builds trust and confidence with your clients. So continuous improvement, that's the next thing that we always want to discuss, is how can our business continually improve? We want to continually improve in sales. We want to continually improve in productivity. And most importantly, we want to continuously improve in profits. And in order to do this, we need to understand our different processes. I don't know if any of you have ever made a flow chart. So a flow chart is where you can draw out how your company works together. Okay, from this point A to point B, what's the flow? Who's responsible for different pieces and parts of the process? And so one of the things that we suggest that you do is that you are able to help your staff as well as yourself understand this process. Take the time and to draw out your process to where your staff can draw it out for the customer. Make sure that that you put it in a way that you can display it to a customer, because customers like to understand what processes are. They like to understand what happens next. My wife and I recently ordered some new doors, screen doors for our home. And we like to know, you know, when should we expect those is an important thing, but we also like to know is who we follow up with. You know, do I follow up with the salesperson, or should I follow up with the office if we have questions? If we need to make changes, who do I talk to? Do I follow up with the salesperson, or do I follow up with the customer service staff? Help your clients know exactly where things sit in the process and who they can follow up with and what the time frame is and expectations. Other things that they would probably want to know is when's the last time I can cancel? We don't want cancellations, and we want to make sure clients know when cancellations can be made and when deposits are lost, so we don't have confrontation. Other thing that we can improve is by having we'll call it the whiteboard or visualization board. We want to make sure our staff knows what's going on. Now you can make your whiteboard or make your sounding board something that's visual for everyone, and also something that people can add and subtract to. You know, it's a place that you can have announcements. Now, I suggest this is something more than just that break room, put a bunch of stuff on and there's so much stuff on it that we don't know what's going on, but to have something that's extremely organized. You know, if it's a team, make sure that people understand the team schedules, know when people are going to be off and when people are going to be on. If you want to recognize, you know, people that excelled in their jobs, it's a great place to do recognition. It's also where we have wins. I always love walking into a construction site or a office or a plumbing office, and they say how many work days without an injury. You know, to me, I look at that, and that's something that those companies take pride in, and it's something that's important to them because it helps with different costs when it comes to insurances and things that they need. So have a whiteboard, have a sounding board that fits your needs and helps inspires your staff. Okay, data. Now we talked a little bit about data when it comes to marketing. And when we look at data, we want to be able to measure things. So we want to be able to collect good data that's measurable. And then we want to use the proper ways to measure it. If you're not good at Excel or programs such as that, see who you can work with or who can help you become better at it. There's simple classes that you can take. You can see if you have staff on hand that's efficient in it, but find ways that you can view your data and to make your company a little bit more efficient. So as I talked about, we need to make sure that the data you collect is measurable. The example I used before is in your marketing. If you take your different marketing and you see the dollars that you're spending there, and then you look at the clients that you're acquiring and how much they're spending with you, you can measure the data of one versus the other to see which way is most efficient. Okay, and to be able to help you know what you should do and not do. You know, one of the data that we used in our company is we wanted to measure the data. How much was the cost of the labor on the job that we're doing? And we had a measurable goal on every job that we did in order to make sure that we're fitting in those lines to see how profitable a job was. So we looked at time spent on a job versus the dollars brought in is what we compared those. We compared the job to the company average, and is the job fitting within the company averages of those. So having good data helps you find ways or times that you might be becoming less efficient. And if you start to see a trend over a certain number of months, then you know that you can come in and look at what's going on. Has cost of products become more expensive? So therefore I need to raise rates because I'm becoming less profitable. Is my staff not working as efficient or effectively as they used to be? So I need to change and update processes. Make sure that you have data, you're reviewing it on a regular basis so that you can see the problems before they become too big of a problem. Okay. This simply just talks about, you know, using good spreadsheets. There's apps that you can use. There's software that often is company specific, or not the company specific, but industry specific. Look to see if you have things that people have already created for you and find ways that you can view it in a very understandable way and that you can explain it to your staff and why it's important. Okay. Customer service. So if we can do question number 6, Faith. My customer service team builds stronger clients, is often yelled at, frustrates clients, resolves concerns. What statement best fits your customer service team? And be honest. I think this is the most important thing, is be honest with yourself where this comes in. All right. Okay, so top one is they're good at resolving concerns, and followed by building stronger clients. I'm glad to see that there is often yelled at is not in there. Maybe they're just not telling you. I hope it's the case that that you're not getting yelled at. And then there's a small percentage that frustrates clients. To me, customer service is one of the most important things when it comes to a customer. It is often the last communication a client will have with your company is with the customer service staff. And if they don't feel like they were taken care of well, if their confidence wasn't created, that may be the last time you ever have that client. In the last couple of years, my wife and I had experience where we ordered some things for our home. And unfortunately, the company had to come out to our house 8 different times for what we ordered, more than they should have. And every time the person that came out to resolve our concern had no idea why they were even showing up at our door, and we had to start from scratch every single time. It was probably the worst experience I've ever had with a customer service team. We spoke to ownership, supposedly, we spoke to management, and their customer service promised things that they never, ever followed through on. Obviously, we became very unhappy with them, to the point where we almost filed a complaint against their construction license that they have. And you don't want people to do that. And thankfully, we didn't have to get to that piece, but that's not what you want your customer service to do. I've had other experiences where things didn't work out correctly, and the customer service communicated with me well, they followed up with me, and they resolved the concern. And I will go back to that customer service 100% just because of the communication that they had with us immediately. Very happy, very satisfied with them. We bought a car, and I had a manufacturer's defect immediately. And I called one service team that was a little closer, and they were hard to work with. I called the place where I bought my car, and they took amazing care with me. Where am I going to go buy my next car? From the same place that took care of me because of their customer service. So really think about your customer service and think about what authority you give to them. You want to make sure that you don't give them too much authority, but you also want to give them enough authority to make sure that they feel like they're not just talking to someone that can't do anything with them. You also want to make sure that your customer service gives you feedback. Make sure that they're giving input on what's going on. They're often some of your best eyes and ears for how well your sales staff is doing and how well your operations and your installers and your manufacturers are doing. So listen to that customer service team, because they're typically one of your front end interactions with your clients. The other thing is to make sure your customer service team understands your philosophy. What's important? Do you have the philosophy of Costco, saying that the customer's all right even when they're wrong? Not saying that we all should have that. That's definitely not the best philosophy for every business model. But for the Costco business model, it brings a lot of people in there because they know they can return anything at any moment in time. There's also the customer philosophy is that you're gonna listen. You're going to resolve, and you're going to make sure that client feels like they were taken care of and they were important. So make sure that your customer service teams knows how they should be reacting to a situation, because they have a philosophy inside of the company. Okay, customer complaints. They're going to happen, and we don't want to ignore them. It's something that you should track and that you should use to obtain feedback to make your company better. The last thing we want to use is customer complaints as something that we ignore and that we detract from our clients. We want to build on that and become better because of it. I talked to you already about social media and customer service. Make sure that you pay attention to those, respond to those complaints, resolve them, make sure they're not left out there. People are searching that very simply and very easily, and they're going to pay attention to those complaints, and they're going to make their decisions on who they work with based off of that. Last little thing we're going to talk about is community engagement. Being involved in the community is an excellent thing. So if we can do slide number 7. So slide number 7 just gives a few small ideas of how you might get involved with the community. My company is involved in the community by volunteering, participating in golf events. That's one that people love to do. Community event sponsorship, or you don't get involved at all in the community. And there's many other ways that you can get involved. So it's not limited just to these few areas, but. All right. So looks like, about 50% saying they don't feel that they're involved, at least in those categories. Community event sponsorship is, and volunteering is very right up there. And then following with golf events. I'm not a golfer, so I don't participate in golf events. I know a financial advisor that doesn't golf doesn't make sense, but that's where I'm at. Now, when we look at community engagement, I want you to think a little bit about those things and what brings value. You know, if you're volunteering and you participate in a lot of social media marketing, what a wonderful thing that you can post what good you're doing. People like to follow that. They like to read that. They see that you're involved in that, in those activities. They might pay attention to your next post because not all your post is trying to sell them things. Golf events, it's a good way to interact with people. It's a socialization event where you can meet with people of multiple industries or even people within your own industry to learn from each other. Community event sponsorship. What an excellent thing. You know, AZ Commerce at the beginning showed there are many different sponsors. By just seeing the names that are listed there, you might pay a little bit more attention next time you see that logo again. And remembering, hey, they are participating in this, and having your logos, having your name out in front of people makes them more brand aware. And so the more brand aware they are, the better that it is. So look for different ways that you can be involved just to build your brand. Make sure that your brand is more known, make sure it's more seen, and that way you can be involved in good things. Okay. A couple suggestions that we have is don't just do one and done volunteering. Look at things that are repeatable that you can do as a company and your company can enjoy doing together. Other things is match your community engagements or your involvement with your employee skill set. You know, what are your employees are good at? So you could kind of look at your team, discuss what they're good at. You also can think about what your team's not very good at, and look and seeing if you can do volunteering activities or events that maybe builds on the strengths you have or helps them develop new strengths. You know, whether it's a team building activity or whether it's participating at a food bank. The other thing that you can look at is, do you have repeat customers? You know, is there a way that you can work with those repeat customers in the community, whether that's through schools or whether that's through organizations? Look at ways that you can work with your customers in the community. See what they're involved in and join in with them. You know, that's another good thing, is to see if your customers are joining in a specific thing over and over again to join with them and be part and work with them. So that brings us to the end. We absolutely appreciate you participating. And what we do want to make sure you know is that Jeremy and I are available to help you out in any of these areas or direct you in the right path. We're not going to be the experts in every area, but what we are is we're definitely a good team to be part of. And so if you're interested in having a conversation with us at any moment in time, feel free to reach out to us via phone, via email. We will send out, as I said, a short note just thanking you for being part of this seminar and participating with us. And if you would like to respond, we'd sure appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jeremy. We have a few minutes left. If there are any questions you want to drop down in the Q&A, you can ask some questions to Jonathan and Jeremy. But we do appreciate their time. We appreciate all the interaction through the chat and through the polls that we did. So thank you very much. But I don't see any questions popping up. So with that, we'll give everybody a few minutes left back in their day, an extra 5 minutes. And again, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jeremy, for this information. Very helpful for all those attendees. The workbook is on our website, and we will have the recording of this session available later today. So if you need to review it or share it with someone that you might think might get some benefit out of it, feel free to do so. Until then, we hope you can join us next Tuesday, 9 a.m. So have a great week, and we will see you soon. Thank you.